Hello. What's up, guys? I just woke up and I'm filming this video. On my way here, I was singing a song, and that song was, kind of just made up and I was going with the flow. But I had that little bit of like creativity and lyricism that I've been looking for in like music and whatever. And so I made a song. Of course, I never recorded it, nor am I gonna remember how it went. But it was in that moment when I enjoyed singing that it was like that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was doing, and I was enjoying it. And so more so than my goal of making a song, I enjoyed the creative process of trying to think of what the next line should be. And in the advice that I've received on making lyrics, one very important person said that you just gotta write down a bunch of stuff, a lot of words, a lot of things that could rhyme together, or just like a lot of things around a central story that you're trying to make. And then once you have all of these lines, you go through and see what fits, and then maybe something will fit, maybe something won't, and you keep doing that and revising it until you come out with lyrics. Kind of like the idea of getting like a 5-minute presentation on a subject, or a 5-minute song to tell your story, and then condensing it further and further until you have a 3-minute song, a 2-minute song, a 30-second song. And then that has to you have to take the full meaning of the 5-minute song but condense it into that 30 seconds through your lyricism, which is a good challenge for creating good lyrics because it requires you to be more clever with, what you're putting out. But this lyricism vomit of all these words is troublesome for me because I'm trying to write line by line. And apparently that doesn't work as well. But of course, everyone has their own writing process style, but I want to try out some different ones. And I have been writing lyrics in my past through this line by line method of, okay, I have this line and this line and this line. How do I get my next line? Or what do I want to put there? And so, you think on it for a bit and you're like, what's a good line? What's a good line? And then you write it, and then maybe it's not that good of a line, but you move ahead and you forget about it. And with this other method of bunches and bunches of lines, you can have those bad lines, but they're not going to stay because you're going to see these other good lines that you have. And then you'll be like, oh, I like that one and that one and that one especially. And so you'll keep them. And so the process itself, I think, is probably better. It'll get you better lyrics. But it's still kind of difficult for me since I haven't really done it that way. And honestly, I could probably just try and create line by line and then remove all the bad lines and maybe create another similar story to that one in that line by line method and just remove all the bad lines again. And maybe that would work. But it's really just about finding your creative process that gets you what you want. Because when I'm plucking on my guitar, I don't really know chords that well, but I do know the fretboard kind of, so I can mess around with it to get combinations of notes that could be considered chords, but sometimes are a little dissonant. But this also makes it so that I'm playing different chords than most people, which means I might make different music, right? And so the chord progression that I found that I want to use has a lot of tension in it, so I've been told. So I need some lyrics with a lot of tension, right? And I think that makes producing lyrics easier because I have this theme that I can go along with because of my guitar part. If there's a lot of tension in the guitar, a lot of tension in the lyrics, or I can try and find a point in which to break the tension in the guitar and then using that to add to the lyrics, so that whenever the tension does finally break, that final lyric is going to be very important and that, makes music cool. Anyways, toodles.